Hey everyone, Rarity here, time for another blind commentary. And today we're doing something a bit different, the top 10 My Little Pony Creepypastas by WatchPony.com. This video was specifically suggested by the Bessel Miss Rarity, 129 Storm, Minecrafter0001, Gravity Falls Cypher Fan, Baroni's Destiny, and Whiterun Guard. Red Tiger, Joshua Kyle Isidro, and Wendy Loves Stalking, meanwhile, all suggested WatchPony.com's content more in general. And, yeah, this is obviously a top 10 list, something I've not really reacted to before, but which I can see maybe being worth doing. Moreover, it's a parody of the content of the channel WatchMojo.com, apparently. I think I've seen maybe a couple videos from WatchMojo, but they didn't ever really end up being super memorable to me. I don't know. As for the subject matter here, I gotta say that it doesn't really excite me too much. Creepypastas have been a part of the fandom since the start. We all know about Cupcakes and whatnot. None of it has ever really been that compelling to me, though, personally. I just don't really care for it too much one way or the other. But lots of requests on this one, so it might still be an interesting video to watch. Maybe I'll learn a few things I don't know about already. Guess we can find out. Let's get started. Okay. And here we go. WatchPony.com. Some pretty nice opening graphics here.
I know. We could tell scary
Ghost
stories. Like we did
stories.
last. Since Spike is visiting Canterlot for a few days, he's not here to get too scared, so we can make them as scary as we want.
The highly
sounds good.
requested list is finally here. Who needs sleep anyways? You got WatchPony.com, and we're counting down our picks for the top 10 My Little Pony Creepypastas and Grimdark stories. For
Yeah?
this list, we're looking at the fanfics that are dark enough to send shivers down your spine. We're also putting in consideration how
That's
big
an
they are in
interesting
the fandom,
art style.
and not focusing on stories that just thrive on blood and killing characters. And to make it fair, we're excluding the real-life category and headcanons, as those are for a different list. But for an active disclaimer, the stories mentioned in this video contain mature content, language, sexual themes, blood, and scary elements.
Of course.
If you
And
are
it looks
a
like we're
young
getting
or
some
sensitive viewer, you may
Little Miss
now
Rarity.
look away, or forever be scarred for life. That applies to the stories mentioned as well. Viewer discretion is advised. Number 10, Sweet Apple Massacre.
I've heard of this one.
Words
Pretty
can't even
infamous.
describe how wrong this story is. It's wrong.
Don't really know anything about
weird,
this one.
And stomach churning. But despite how awful it is, it's one of the most popular stories in the fandom. Pony Fiction Archive forum member DeMagix claims to be the author of Sweet Apple Massacre, a gore fic with elements of rape and body disembowelment. It stars Big Mac
That sounds pleasant.
going into a secret chamber that has 3 fillies, Apple Bloom, Scootaloo, and Sweetie Belle, bound and gagged. Big Mac tells it as a way to get revenge for their efforts of getting their cutie marks disturbing his peace and quiet. With the Cutie Mark Crusaders as the victims in this story, it becomes known as one of the
Big
most
Mac.
challenging stories to read.
You monster.
Especially out loud.
Big Macintosh forced open Apple Bloom's mouth, and with some effort, cut out her tongue. Apple Bloom tried to scream, but her mouth was too full of blood.
Ooh.
Number 9, The Experiments.
Never even heard of that
Twilight
one.
Sparkle. Another story full of blood and guts. The Experiments of Twilight Sparkle was inspired by the style of Cupcakes, making it the Twilight version. But
Yeah.
instead of a single victim,
I think
Twilight
a lot of
performs
these were inspired by
a series of
Cupcakes.
brutal and fatal experiments on all 5 of her friends. She asked them politely to help her out with an experiment, and being the good friends that they are, they go down to help her.
That's some
Next
great
thing
imagery
you know,
there.
they're strapped down, dissecting style, ready to be cut open for a look that goes too much beneath the skin. When her friends ask her about her motive, Twilight simply responds with sanity. She is completely sane and doing this for her studies, oddly enough.
Wonderful.
Number 8.
Oh, Twilight.
Rocket to Insanity.
Sounds familiar.
This was an alternate ending to the famous Cupcakes, with the whole thing being a dream that Rainbow had.
No! Stop!
Screams echoed through the cloud palace of Rainbow Dash's home. The filly startled awake in a cold sweat, terror surging through her veins.
As Rainbow woke up from her nightmare, she tries to go on with her life, but a little voice in her head is telling her that Pinky's gonna kill her. Eventually, she meets up with Pinky, and Pinky offers her a cupcake just like in the beginning of her dream. Out of fear for her nightmare becoming a reality, she kills Pinky before Pinky could kill her.
Okay, yeah.
Showing who the real crazy one is. After all, was Pinky planning to kill Rainbow in the first place?
Dash, you silly filly. You got me good with that one. Never wanted to turn down an opportunity to prank, huh?
Number 7, A Haunting. A classic story written before Alicorn Twilight. This story takes place in the Golden Oaks.
I actually read that one. That was good.
Sakura also comes in.
And they're showing
that party has caused an ancient evil to awaken and turn Twilight's
Rainbow Dash
life
Presents
into a living nightmare.
And also that video,
Possessing
I reacted to
Twilight's
that.
Smarty Pants doll, causing sudden changes and missing objects make Twilight go insane and eventually possessed. Soon she becomes trapped in her own house, and it was up to Rainbow Dash, Rarity, and Applejack to save her, nearly getting killed in the process. Soon an old man and Sakura come to abolish the evil, but they soon realize it was with them all along.
Yeah, that's actually a good story.
Number 6, Little
And this,
Rarity.
yeah, familiar with this too.
The grim tale of Rarity and her sanity as more and more things become surreal with her and a certain video camera. It started off with Rarity working, but then Opal scratches her, but she likes it. Soon she video logs about her pleasure, about
Not seen this
inflicting pain to
animated
herself,
version of it.
documenting her slow descent into the world of masochism.
Maybe something
She
to
goes
watch.
further as to include Sweetie Belle in her twisted form of pleasure.
Yeah.
And even took the life of her cat Opal and turned her into a living pink Amino doll. But one day she wakes up to see the camera following her, and her once thought harmless hobby turned into a cry for help.
Okay. Yeah.
Number 5, A Puppet to Her Fame.
Never heard of this one.
My grace you live. The only thing I despise more than you was admitting my father was right. I will not give him the satisfaction of being right about my wife.
Octavia is an elite cellist and a noble with royal parents. What ponies don't know is that her childhood consists of beatings, abuse from her parents, and dark magic. Truly dark for its nature, listeners are warned about the elements like child abuse, discrimination, torture, and language. Octavia was forced to play the cello for all her life until she met Lyra.
Doesn't sound like a very pleasant story.
Which she falls in love with. But unknown to everyone else, Octavia is cursed, with music in her mind, along with these mysterious hooks that control her life. As for the victims in this story, well, I won't tell. Number 4, Something Sweet to Bite. Ever wondered the strange tradition of offering Nightmare Night candy to Nightmare Moon on Nightmare
Another
Night?
one I haven't even heard of.
Well, here is the tragic legend why.
The newcomer was covered in candy from her head to her hooves. Every last part of her had a shimmering, shining wrapper or a sparkly sugar coating. Even her mane and tail looked like they were made from red and black licorice.
The Candy Mare was a mad scientist of a candy maker. Successful in his shop,
That's a creepy image.
kidnaps children and kills their parents, conducting experiments for his
Yeah.
subjects to taste. The children themselves often die of lack of actual food. One little girl, however, couldn't, and goes into a killing spree with a taste of flesh. Eating the scientist and becoming part candy, she becomes loose in Ponyville. The citizens of Ponyville can't do anything but witness the carnage. Number 3, The Cough.
Oh, not familiar with this one either.
Silence reigned.
Who?
An apocalyptic future and a deadly virus inhabits Ponyville and all of Equestria that leads anyone to,
Wow.
be sick, to be killed on the spot in order to prevent
Stuff the fandom comes up with.
The main 6 start off in a pitch black room. No windows, no power. It's the only secure area in Equestria. Then they hear a cough. They go around asking who was the one that coughed, because whoever did had to die in order to prevent it from spreading and killing everyone else. But soon Fluttershy steps up, admitting as the one who coughed, and had Rainbow Dash be the one to give her a quick death as painless as possible. But the real tragedy is that after the deed was done, they discovered Fluttershy wasn't the one that coughed.
Yeah.
Number 2. The Rainbow Factory.
Of course.
When you have a story so good it has a song tributed to it, you know it's a good
That's
one.
actually
The
wrong,
story
and
goes about Scootaloo. A few years older and
the
learned
fic
how to
is a
fly.
tribute to the
She's
song.
at the point of school and where she
And
has to take the mandatory flight
also the
test.
story isn't very good.
What no one knew until it was too late was that if you fail your flying test, you are taken to the Rainbow Factory.
Showing more Rainbow Dash Presents, I like that.
Then she discovers a machine that extracts the colors from ponies
Well, that's
that are
some
used
nice
in the
art.
rainbows, but shreds and grinds
Like a
the
good
ponies in the
human Rainbow
process.
Dash pick.
What makes this even more grim is that Rainbow Dash is the one in charge of the facility, breaking Scootaloo's heart and fueling Rainbow Dash's rage, knowing she has to be the one
Yeah.
to kill Scootaloo herself. Before we announce our obvious number 1 pick, let's take a look at a few.
Yeah, it's
honorable
all
mentions.
pretty obvious.
Now,
Pinky informed her.
you take a nap.
Number 1, Cupcakes. Was
Of
there ever any
course.
doubt? This was the story that practically ignited the creepypasta movement in the fandom. You
Indeed.
can't deny that this is quite possibly the most famous grimdark story about My Little Pony ever known. The story
Of course it
featured
is.
an alternate version of Pinkie Pie known as Pinkamena. She has her signature cutie mark dress made
Do
along
they actually
with
call her
unicorn
Pinkamena in
horns
the
and
story?
various
I don't think they
Pegasus
do,
colours.
because it was
She goes along the process. with
created
Rainbow Dash
before,
being her victim, and
Cutie
soon
Mark
having an
Chronicles.
apprentice baker. Well, do you agree with our list? Which grimdark story made you see images for days? Let us know in the comment section below. And don't forget to vote and contribute on watchpony.com. Thank you for watching, and you may now look away. Sweet dreams.
Okay. So, yeah, that was pretty fun. It was a well-made, entertaining video. I was actually pretty surprised by how many things on the list I hadn't even heard of before. Some of them sounded pretty messed up and bleak, and while I might not care about creepypasta stuff so much, it did sort of do its job of making me somewhat intrigued by some of the things on the list. The top 2 were the obvious ones, of course, Cupcakes and Rainbow Factory. I am kind of disappointed with the obvious error on the Rainbow Factory part, though. It doesn't take extensive research to know that the song is the point of origin and not the story. And them then using the existence of the song to sell the story as good, yeah, no. Definitely loses points there. Other than that, though, it was a good video. I'd do more Watch Pony stuff if you guys want to see it. And, yeah. Hope you liked the commentary. Let me know if you did, and see you in the next one.